Hi, it's Trevor Leggett. Welcome to the Leggett Podcast. Here we are.
Yeah.
2023. July. In the last 10 years, just going to go over where we come from in the last 10 years. If I start off where we were, where we came from back then, 97. Me, Leo, Simon, Steve, 4 of us, 2 secretaries. Blimey.
A long journey.
God, yeah, so 25 years later, there's 800 of us.
Yeah. No, that is incredible, isn't it, the growth?
Yeah, so but over the last 10 years, where we've started to grow the business across 45 apartments in France.
45, yeah. 45 plus now. Yeah.
And we've had some surprises, haven't we, along the way?
Big surprises, yeah. It hasn't just been in our traditional strongholds.
No, that's right.
We've expanded in some geographically places that are a long way away. Alps, Brittany, etc.
I mean, it's all about the people, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you think about some of the guys that have built businesses for themselves within our business.
Yeah.
Which we would never have achieved it without them.
Incredible, and they've done it. To be
it is,
yeah.
Especially some of them. Well, Heather was a transport company, then property, building, and then real estate. A lot of them we all started together, really. Although you and I have been in real estate for some time before. I mean, you had your own agency in the UK, didn't you?
Two. But it just goes to show, as you say, it's people business. Yeah. And certainly, like any other business, the leaders in your business have basically led from the front independently.
Yeah. And they haven't all done it their own way, have they? I mean, some of the guys have done it one way, some have done it another, and it all seems to work. I mean, it's a bit like sales in general, really, isn't it? There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Exactly.
I think the one thing that everyone's had in common is customer care. And I think they've all genuinely cared about the service levels that we've tried to achieve over the years, and customer satisfaction's been at the heart of the job, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and the priority's been actually achieving the result, not necessarily how you achieve it, with that caveat on customer care, obviously.
Yeah, and also the creativity of running our own sites, building our own databases, all the IT in the background,
Incredible.
all the different ways of marketing properties. We've been pretty innovative, haven't we?
Well, we have.
We did the VTs, when did we start doing virtual tours? Must have been 12 years ago.
I was going to say 2012, something like that, Trevor.
I remember Cyril said to me the other day, he said, do you know guys, we've done 50,000 VTs? I said, you were joking, how have we done 50,000 VTs? I don't know how many videos we've done either. I mean, our YouTube channel's going well. A lot harder to make a video, though, isn't it, than to make a virtual tour. But I mean, the results from video have been incredible for us, haven't they?
Well, and Cyril did the first virtual tour for when I was an AC for the local team here down in Brantôme for me on a development new homes in Brantôme.
Well, I remember when he actually does a laugh. I remember when he actually did a VT for Chris to sell his house because he didn't want to go to an agent. So he said, "Okay, what I'll do is I'll do a video of your house." So he did the VTs and then done a video with it as well. Started using drones. I mean, drones were new then.
Yeah.
And then he actually sold the property very, very quickly. So I said, hang on a minute. I said, you didn't go to an agent. You've done that all on your own. He went, no, I employed Cyril to do it. So I said, well, hang on a minute. I've got to give that man a job, haven't I?
Yeah.
And that was when Cyril joined us.
Well, that's it. We've gone from strength to strength, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, he's been a good lad. I mean, the other thing is that the strength of some of the guys that have done so well working for us. I mean, I can't believe it sometimes. I mean, Yvonne, for example, she was 5 years, not a lot going on, really, in fairness.
Down to the Midi-Pyrenees,
All of a sudden, I don't know what happened there, do you? She's gone from strength to strength.
No, as you said, it's a people business, and more and more people joined us as the team got momentum. Yeah. And the results follow. But it's a people business with its buyer, seller, agent, a regional manager. Yeah, we're all in it together, as you say, all 800 of us.
Yeah.
And it's incredible that we've got 670 agents today, and 10 years ago we had 200.
Yeah, it's not been without its issues, is it?
No.
Let's be honest.
No.
Some of the periods have been difficult. I mean, from 2008 onwards, it's been pretty good. I mean, now we're running into probably the first downturn in business that we've seen since 2007, because the business was already starting to slow a bit then, and obviously interest rates. This is the first time we've had a major hike in interest rates.
Well, yeah,
over the last.
that's complicated the issue because our buyers now are under extreme affordability pressure with that increase.
Yeah.
400% increase.
Yeah, but luckily there's not a lot of property for sale.
No.
It keeps keeping prices up at the moment, and I can't see it really changing because I can't see them being an awful huge influx of property to market.
No, I can't see it either, Trevor. And from Easter 2022, where Natalie Leggett estimated there was probably 2 or 3 buyers for every new property that come to market.
Yeah.
Now we're at a perfectly balanced 1-to-1, i.e. 1 buyer for every new mandate that comes to the market.
Well, in certain properties we had 3 buyers for 1 property.
Absolutely. But now we're in a perfectly, analysts would say a perfectly balanced property market, where basically we have as many buyers as sellers, and
Do you think it's going to change?
Do I think it's going to change? I personally think that it's changed already.
Yeah.
In the respect that prices are no longer increasing generally, apart from in some pockets.
Yeah.
I think we've come out of a major boom in the last 3 to 4 years, partly fueled by the epidemic, where people are coming to rural areas, partly fueled by 1% interest rates.
Yeah. It's funny though that the market is mirrored, isn't it, throughout Europe. If you look, when I was travelling around Europe the other day, I was just having a look and talking to people. Went through about 10 countries in the space of 10 days, and on that rally, which is quite fun.
Oh yeah.
And I was just having a look and sort of thing, and there's a real shortage of stock everywhere. Yeah. And when you talk to people, the market is pretty much the same everywhere. Yeah. I mean, the UK possibly a bit worse because they've suffered slightly higher interest rates even than the rest of Europe. Yeah. But the figures that have been released there for the first half of this year are probably worse than I thought they would actually been, which is a little bit of a shock. I thought, wow. Yeah. But reality, we knew that things were slowing down a bit. But mandate stocks this year, our instructions were taking on slightly more instructions than we did this time last year. It's unless there's a huge influx of property to the market, I can't see house prices coming down. I can't see them moving. No, but absolutely, in a perfectly balanced market, like we said, where there's as many buyers and sellers, as many buyers and sellers as each other, then basically the prices are probably going to flatline. As I said to you last year, didn't I? When I remember we were sitting talking about it, and I said to you, anyone's got a mortgage at 1%, it's not going to be hurried to, you said that, you're right. Hurried to sell, are they? No. Especially in France, where mortgages are fixed for term. Fixed for 20, it's something in the UK nobody even thinks of, and now you're lucky if you can get a fixed rate for 2 years. 2 years, yeah. I mean, I remember I fixed my mortgage in the UK at 5% about 2 years ago. And that's probably the last 5-year fixed deal that the bank had on their hands. They literally said, we're never, this is it, it's the last one. Yeah, but a lot of French buyers have had, and international buyers in France have had 1% fixed rates for 25 years put at them. They're not going to be in a hurry to change them for 4.5% fixed for 25 years. No. I heard someone the other day managed to negotiate 3.5%. And they were chuffed at 3.5%. So it just goes to show you now 3.5 is a good deal. Yeah. Whereas you'd said that to them a year ago, 3.5 would have been like, well, no, so you're all right. No, exactly. Exactly. But no, it is a perfectly balanced market between buyer and seller. One interesting analyst comment that was read that basically prices need to adjust, not collapse, not fall off a cliff, but they need to adjust to reflect the buyer affordability at the moment because their budgets are under increased pressure from higher interest rates, still historically quite low. Yeah. And the term, of course, now is limited to 25 years. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there were mortgages going out 30-year mortgages fixed for term. In actual fact, some young people, I remember getting fixed for term mortgages over 30 years. Yeah. But I mean, that's all changed. And the loan to value now is fixed. The debt ratio is fixed. And the banks are actually fined for going over it. So if the banks don't respect it, now they're actually legally responsible. Yeah. And if we talk about pricing in the market, even in our record year last year, Trevor, the
there is still a margin for negotiation on every sale. The average margin was about 12%. So, and that was in a record year. So it'll always continue. There'll always be negotiation. That's the basic foundation of the real estate market. Yeah. Being able to negotiate your price, and even in a record year, as I say,
well, as long as the supply stays steady and limited, then prices should stay stable.
Absolutely.
And I can't see any reason why there's going to be an oversupply. I mean, obviously, we all know supply and demand is the key factor at deciding pricing.
Yeah, this adjustment in the market, as we discussed last week, has been going on for just over a year now. And ultimately, you look at the fact that
there was a bit of a rush, wasn't there, last spring, because everyone knew that interest rates were going to go up, and they sort of rushed to get a good rate.
Yeah.
And there was this massive last-minute rush.
Absolutely.
And that sort of tailed off once the taux du jour was starting to go up. The taux du jour, obviously, for those who don't understand, is the interest rate which is imposed by the government. In France, there's an actual legal maximum amount the banks can lend at.
Yeah.
And that was reviewed, 3 monthly traditionally,
Exactly.
and then it changed to monthly.
Exactly,
it's
monthly
changed
now.
to monthly for a reason, because they were bringing the interest rate up every month.
Yeah.
That's good.
And they increased it again last week, Trevor, to 5.09% they're allowed to charge as a maximum, including life insurance.
Is that told you a new one?
Yeah. So there's plenty of latitude there for the banks to borrow, but with the buyers, it's basically a situation where they need to get used to this new normal of 3 to 4, 5% interest rates, like we were saying. And I think there's been a slight transition period over the last 6 months because of that. I do.
Yeah.
And ultimately,
there's still a lot of cash buyers about, though, isn't there?
Oh, yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
The majority of our buyers are still cash buyers.
Absolutely. No. You're probably looking at a third split. Third require a French mortgage, third are cash, and a third have got cash from remortgaging their property from where they come from, of whatever country,
I don't know. I think a lot of people, a lot of the age group buying second homes, quite frankly, I've got the cash to buy something else.
Mm.
A lot of them, it's inherited money, and a lot of them are like buying at the moment. Then they're not in competition so much now, the international buyers, as they were before, because obviously with COVID, we had so many French buyers buying rural property and moving out to the country, and as we've done ourselves, the experience of working from home hasn't been the most successful one. In all fairness, you and I never believed in it anyway.
No.
But, frankly, I think a lot of companies want their staff back at work now, despite this, supposed new way of working. Hasn't worked out for everybody, has it?
No. Most of us thrive in creating a separation between our business life and our personal life.
Yeah.
And whether that's the location of that, or whatever.
Nice to get in the car, drive to work, and drive away from it, leave it at home, leave it at work.
Absolutely, and pick it up the next morning.
Yeah.
But the main difference is probably the fact that back in spring 2022. The FNAIM, which is the governing body in France for buying and selling property, were basically quoting that it took 61 days to sell a property, get a property under offer, and now that's gone up to 67. So it's taken slightly longer from the heydays. A 10% adjustment, absolutely.
It's a supply limit, but the supply must be completely restricted, really, at the moment, because obviously if sales are literally, as they say, down the extent they are, and they're still selling in 6-7 days.
Yep.
So we're definitely bucking the curve there as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But even in a record year, as I say, negotiation always went on for property.
Yeah. Well, listen, we've been through like 3 of them now. I remember 89, 90 well, I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
2007, 2008, it's about time we had another downturn. So,
to adjust the market, to bring more buyers into the market. And that's really what's been happening over the last year. But as I say, negotiations always gone on, even in the record year. People will still negotiate the prices. Only 30% of properties sold in 2022, the record year, went at the full asking price. 70% were negotiated.
And it's still very, very difficult to find the prime properties. The good stuff is so hard to find. People are just they're not selling it.
No.
And when they do come on, they're coming on and they're selling very, very quickly still, and at really quite high prices. So that's I think the big difference that is happening is some of the properties that wouldn't sell before.
Yeah.
Like the village properties with no garden and stuff like that. That was really difficult to shift, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was difficult to shift.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's now going to be difficult to shift again. Yeah, it's fair enough.
Absolutely. But yeah, you know, unless there's time pressure there for a seller to sell who's got to sought after property, well, there's absolutely no rush, you know.
Right. I said, okay, well, there you go. That wraps that up, Carl.
Well, yeah. No, that was great.
Anyway, we'll have to wait and see what's going to go on with the rest of the year, but I'm fairly optimistic.
I'm optimistic as well.
Good.